Let's get to Steve Large right now after speaking with one of the fathers of one of the victims.
Yeah, and before we get to that, we can show you another vantage point that we haven't seen up to this point. Police have taken down some of the crime tape, about half a block worth of crime tape, and given us a little bit of a closer look at what they are dealing with as far as gathering evidence. Look at the evidence markers down this J Street sidewalk. This is actually 10th Street between J and K, but the sheer number of evidence markers, and now each one of these markers is not necessarily shell casing. It could be a drop of blood. It could be a piece of clothing, but that just gives you kind of a sense of the meticulous nature that police are undergoing this investigation as they try to scour every inch of sidewalk and street here in this 8 square blocks around downtown Sacramento. You had mentioned we had the opportunity to talk to the father of a victim who died in this gun shooting, and I believe we have some video showing a picture of that 29-year-old man, and he was at a club and had gone out of the club at about 2 o'clock in the morning. This is Devazia Turner, 29 years old, and his father decided that he wanted to share some of what he knew about what happened tonight. Here's some of our exchange.
He's a young man in the streets. He's a good guy. Okay. So
I know that there's no good way to ask this, but you know, what is happening and what's going through your mind right now?
It's just grief, bro. It's just grief. So.
What did they tell you that you can share with us?
They didn't tell me nothing. They didn't tell me nothing. They just confirmed that, yes, he's a body over there. That's it.
What do you know about his night? Do you know what he was doing?
They're at a party. It's a club. I mean, it's a club, and as I understand, he walked out the club and he walked into some and got shot. So that's all I know.
What, if anything, what's the message that you'd like to share right now?
To tell these young men to stay out the streets, quit playing these games, that it's going to end their lives. That's it.
How old was your son?
My son was 29.
All right, we are back here live in downtown Sacramento. That was Frank Turner speaking about word he just received that his son, 29-year-old Devazia Turner, was killed in this mass shooting in Sacramento overnight. So the big question at this hour remains a search for a suspect. But again, I think that this is a pretty good indication of what police are dealing with right now, as far as not only expressing the sheer terror that folks experiencing this shooting must have felt, fleeing the scene, running for their lives, but then also just the meticulousness that is needed for investigators right now to try to hone in on a suspect and what happened here early this morning.
And Steve, the Sacramento Police Department has given us a little bit more information, and I know you have more on this. In the early stages of the investigation, all information is preliminary, but as they progress throughout, they have uncovered a firearm from the scene, and you were there as an eyewitness yourself on scene all morning long. What did you see in regards to a gun there at the scene?
Well, we were watching here at this intersection where there was a crime scene investigation unit together picking up a weapon. We have video of that and placing it with gloves into an envelope. That envelope then going into one of the units that was on scene here. That was, I want to say, in the 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock hour this morning. So that's what they're describing there. It sounds like we captured that on video as it was happening, and it was it looked to be a handgun that they took into evidence.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. And we just heard from Devazia Turner's father, who was there at the scene where he learned his son did not, in fact, make it. Before the news was shared, we spoke with Devazia's mother on the phone. Take a listen.
Maybe somebody called me and told me that my son was laying on the ground. They started screaming in the phone and telling me that my son was laying on the ground and that he was shot. You know, I'm a family member, and I need to know about my kid. You know, it's not like just some random person that I want to know. This is my child out here. And the thing is that I want to know if he's still laying in the street till 2 o'clock in the morning. And what is his body still laying in the street? Do they got him covered up? You know, I mean, are they letting the whole, everybody just walk by and look at him dead there? I just need someone to tell me that my son is there, please.
Shortly after that phone call with us, she did learn the news. Her son, just 29 years old, lost his life walking out of a nightclub, getting shot.